What are the symptoms of quarter life crisis?
Okay. So as much as possible, we want to talk about like, positive things and things like that. But this is really very important because, when we are able to really discover that there are really crises happening, when we come into acceptance into that, then the healing starts there, diba?
Hey everybody, I'm Doms.
And I am Nicole,
And this is Empowered Women Podcast.
your source of therapeutic words. Hey everyone!
Welcome to Empowered Women.
Yes, and today we have a very special guest, and I believe, she will be talking about a very special topic that I know majority of us can relate, especially those who are young professionals, adulting, and all those transitions in life. So, and she will be introduced by Ate Doms.
Yes, and before we find out what the topic will be about, let us introduce our guest. This special guest of ours is the founder of the Sourcing Online Services. This is a virtual assistant agency, and she is a seasoned Filipino virtual assistant who has worked with hundreds of clients globally. And over the years, she has gained the trust of CEOs, entrepreneurs, leaders, and colleagues because of her excellent work ethics, professionalism, and networking skills. And what's amazing about this is that she is passionate about helping other Filipino virtual assistants to earn from their home, from the comfort of their homes, and to follow their dreams, to build a career while being with their family. This guest of ours is married to Anthony Ladero, and they are blessed with three beautiful, adorable kids. Let us welcome Shellamae Ladero.
Yay!
Hi, good day, everyone. Good day,
How are
Doms and
you?
Nicole. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
All
We're
right.
so blessed to have you here.
Yes, and
Finally.
finally, because actually, we've been really talking about a lot of stuff with Ate Shen, because I'm actually working with her with some virtual stuff. And there were just a lot of things that we can talk about today. So I would just like to give you the freedom to share whatever you think is going to be helpful to our listeners, considering that you've been very successful with your career, with how you built your own business. And I believe personally, like, even sa amin ni Ate Doms, now we can learn a lot from you in this conversation. So the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. All right. So, guys, I would like to thank you first so much for, having me. It's such an honor to be here in an Empowered Woman podcast. So, I'm really a follower of you guys sa Shopify. I mean, sorry, Spotify pala. Okay, so yeah, so for this episode specifically, I want to talk about this particular season of life called Quarter Life, because first I belong into this, group, and then second, I want to perhaps inspire someone out there and empower someone that might need these words that I'm going to share, because we encounter a lot of crisis, both inevitable and self-made crisis. So I want to share something related into that. So yeah, quarter life crisis happens in a transition between emerging adulthood and early adulthood, and that involves a lot of between struggle. It involves a lot of struggle between independence and commitment. So I'm very excited to share with you guys about that.
Well, that is really an amazing topic, and majority of our listeners are in that age bracket. So I think that you can really help a lot of listeners from that topic. But first, um, what are the symptoms of quarter life crisis?
Okay. So as much as possible, we want to talk about like, positive things and things like that. But this is really very important because, when we are able to really discover that there are really crises happening, when we come into acceptance into that, then the healing starts there, diba? So, according, this is actually the whole, like the outline of what I'm gonna share is inspired by Dr. Oliver Robertson from the University of Greenwich, but a lot of personal stuff and how I dealt with it, and something that could inspire everyone. So, the first one that I want to share first, one of the first symptoms would be, um, you probably might be in the quarter life crisis in your life if you feel so trapped. So, what does that mean? So, let me first share my personal experience. So, I grew up in a loving family. Like, I'm the youngest among the family. So, I would say that I'm kind of very dependent to my parents from, the breakfast and all the allowance and things like that. And every summer we would go on vacation. It's either in Cebu and then Manila and things like that. So I felt like I can't live without my parents. And having my sister working in Dubai, that gives me like a privilege to be like the bunso of the family.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sana
uh,
all.
those were just the perks when I was still single, with all the balikbayan boxes and things like that. So when I got pregnant at the age of 23, same year, 23, Nicole, right? So
Yeah.
like somewhat at your age, it really hit me so hard. I was way back. I was in a third year college because it took me a while to finish college because on and off as a school, and I was like going to my senior year at that time, and I don't do a lot of household chores. And at that time, when I left home to live with Anthony, and that time with his family pa, because we don't have our own house pa, I was really scared, and I know that my life will never be the same again because I have to cook for my husband and make money for my family because I don't want to be like a stay at home, like typical yung stay at home mom. Nah, just we'll just wait for their, well, there's nothing wrong about that, but just in my preference, I want to work. I want to build my career and things like that. And way back, I was so sad, I would say, and I feel so trapped in a situation because I'm seeing my like batchmates, and they were living the life. They were going abroad. They have good jobs in the corporate world, and me, I'm here, I'm pregnant, and I can't do anything about it. And and I don't get me wrong, I'm super happily married right now. That was 4 years ago. So, and also I can say, that's in my experience, but you might be someone out there that you are someone that is single and you feel trapped with your work and things like that. So some people feel as though they've committed at the young age. That's really one of the triggers, when you feel like I'm too young and I've been involved in this already. So you could feel trapped, overwhelmed, or crave independence. So way back, I have a lot of thoughts like that, to be honest. Like how when there's like super challenging circumstances, and I would cry a lot. I would be like very war freak. Yeah, so
Can Anthony testify to
yeah.
that?
Yeah, so I was just I mean, I just don't feel good about it. So I was so sad and I was so depressed. And sometimes the think I mean, we think the thing that we can think about, or the easy way out, would be it's either to quit the job if you're working, or to have divorce if you're married, or yung basta separation. So if you're gonna ask me how have I dealt with it way back, so instead of quitting the job if you're working, or breaking up with Anthony, in my own experience, I've I have accepted the thing that had happened. I have learned to accept. It took me a while to accept things. It took me a while to see the beauty of letting go, to be honest. So I would say that the first step would be acceptance, and then just acknowledge and validate that you feel that way. Like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay if you feel trapped. It's okay if you feel sad. It's okay. Give that, kumbaga, privilege to yourself. But do not stick with that. Like, do not let yourself be drowned, you know, just because you're in that situation and you feel like there's no way out. And so some people pa nga would commit suicide, diba? And I myself have experienced that a lot of times. Like, I felt like there's no way out, and then maybe I just have to end my life and things like that. And I know that is not super Christian thought, but
Mhm.
yeah, I that was way back. So
That's reality.
yeah, reality. So how do we fix this? I suggest, instead of quitting a job or breaking up with your boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse, identify exactly what part of your life is making you feel trapped. Identification, self evaluation. You might, because somehow, or most of the time, actually, guys, you might find out that you are the problem. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
by
Most of the
altering
time.
by
Mhm.
altering your own behavior, you can make a positive change.
That's true.
So, yeah, so first would be acceptance, self evaluation. um so again, it's something na hindi naman siya overnight.
That's
Parang
true.
it's really a process.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the first, I would say, first symptoms
Yeah.
of quarter life crisis.
Yeah, this really nice, Ate Sheng, no? And just for the context of other people, you weren't really that. How did you say that? Like, you did not really expect being pregnant. Like, it wasn't planned. Is that the right
It
term?
was totally unplanned. I
Yeah.
was I was just a third year college way back, and I was about to enter my senior year. So
Mhm.
kumbaga 1 year na lang, and I'm about to graduate na. And then the sad thing during that time is that there were a lot of people that were so disappointed. And if they were disappointed about what happened to me, how much more me myself. So way back, I was really very disappointed with myself. Like, I've been too hard to myself. So that's one of the learnings also that I've learned in this life. Um, I know failures happen, and then we are not perfect. We are prone to fail. So if we fail, we fail, and
That's
learn from it.
yeah.
Just learn from your mistakes and don't make it define you. Don't let it define you. People would always say something. Whether you succeed, whether you're at the peak of your career, they would say something bad. And whether you are at the very
That's just
bottom of
true.
your career, they would always something. They were they there was they would always say something.
Mm.
So kumbaga, give yourself grace.
That's true.
Forgive yourself.
That is true, and I'm so proud of you, Ate Sheng, no, for knowing that, and understanding that, and having that, just that understanding that not everyone has. A lot of people are really judge. How would you say it? Like, very judgmental of others, or they are like too hard on others, and for others as well. And we were talking, Nicole and I were talking, and like, we tend to be the ones that are so hard on ourselves, and when we fail, we feel like we're such a failure, and like we can't do anything that's really good anymore, and we can't be successful anymore. But actually, it's the experience just teaches us that we are infallible, and that, yeah, and we fall short sometimes. We make mistakes, but that does not define us. That does not define who we are. And if we that is true, acknowledging that, yes, I failed, but that does not mean that in the next years I will fail. Maybe one day I will become the owner of SOS.
Here you are.
Yeah, I mean,
Well naman.
I believe that when there's like an extreme breakthrough comes next. So
Yes, I'm a believer of that too.
Don't forget to get your daily dose of therapeutic quotes at Empowered Women's Facebook and Instagram account.